The Pokemon clones from Generation 1 was a fun look at the similar designs other Pokemon had to offer, so I decided to take a look at the ones in Pokemon Sword and Shield to see which of the roster from previous generations they resemble the most. Generation 5 was known for having a huge amount of characters resembling ones from Generation 1, like the most popular speculation of Tauros getting an evolution in Buffalot, which was not the case and Tauros is just here still waiting for his return. So as I've done this for Generation 1, let's take a look at Generation 8 and see which new Pokemon look like clones of older Pokemon. Glad to see you all here, and hope you enjoy our top 10 Pokemon clones in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Before we begin, I just wanted to give a shout out to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Raid is a sensation of the mobile gaming world, an RPG that changes everything with over 10 million mentions in just a few months and over 400 different champions for you to collect and personally customize. The best part being it's free to play. Some cool features in this game are the multi-battle auto mode, weekly tournaments and events, and the many champions to choose from. The game is growing at a super fast pace, and have an incredibly cool roadmap that they publish along with huge plans for new updates for over 6 months with an unlimited amount of content, new factions, a tag team arena feature, and even a new clan boss. So what are you waiting for? You can click the links in the description, and if you're a new player you can obtain 100,000 silver, 2 clan boss keys, 10 mystery shards, and 1 free champion executioner. All this treasure will be waiting for you here for the next 30 days, so good luck and I'll see you there. Number 10. Cuffant. The little elephant pops up as a new steel type strutting its stuff around the Galar region. Cuffant most notably resembles our ever-loved elephant friend, Dumbo. But it also kind of looks like Phanpy, so we're going with that. Obviously, since they're both elephants, they're going to seem similar, as is typical with some animal Pokemon. But the overall style of this new version does maintain that steady cheer Phanpy looks to have. I have seen a bit of dislike for Little Cuffant, which is mostly directed towards its evolution Kapuraja, and while I think Cuffant on its own is cute, I do see the comparisons between the two elephants from Generation 8 and Generation 2 butting heads with one another as which to choose as their favorite. I would have to give the edge to Phanpy, even with my nostalgia glasses turned off, but I don't think there's very much to hate in regards to the new elephants. Unless you just don't like elephants, then that's a whole different story. The two elephants managed to duke it out in a battle of who's the best, and while I don't think Cuffant will be able to match the popularity Phanpy gets when the new generations come out, and we all have to make new hashtags for those, it'll still be there as an add-on to the addition of Pokemon elephants. Number 9. Morpeko. Every generation keeps up the trend of at least one Pikachu clone as a subliminal advertisement towards more Pikachu merch. With there not being a legendary group of Pokemon, like the Tapus or the Genies, in Generation 8, we're left with the consistency of the usual fire, grass, water starters, and Pikachu being remastered one more time. Morpeko's an alright Pokemon. It's nice they added in a new never-before-seen typing of Electric Dark, even if it isn't one of the strongest looking fellows. And the hanger mode can seem like a little too much of a meme. And while it is definitely a cute one with a funny ability, it sort of maintains a bit of a backseat to Mimikyu, and is the combination of plus and minus into one. I will say it's at least a little higher in the ranks in terms of Pikachu clones, out of how many there are, but I'm glad to see its form contained into one Pokédex slot, rather than making 2 for each one, as Pokédex slots are a hot commodity and are just way too valuable at this point. Number 8. Corviknight. It's no surprise that a starting route bird Pokemon could resemble previous additions to this line of Pokemon. However, Corviknight really resembles a metallic Staraptor about as much as it could. I know Skarmory is the go-to technical clone, but shape and design-wise I have to go with Staraptor's overall body. So it's more of a fusion between these two, and a little less of a clone. Corvisquire, however, really reminds me of Pidgeotto's sleek mid-evolution confidence and would match pretty well in the anime with Ash's old normal bird type. I think Corviknight is a very nice bird Pokemon on its own, and it's honestly pretty surprising how many new designs they can come up with how many birds are already in the game. But I guess life does that too, so we've got birds galore. Number 7. Pincurchin. Sometimes there's just these small, non-evolving Pokemon in each generation that end up looking similar. Usually they're Pikachu clones, but Pincurchin manages to take on a form looking a bit inspired by our old Generation 2, hopefully evolving someday Pokemon called Qwilfish. When I first saw Pincurchin, I was really hoping it was a new evolution for Qwilfish, or at least a regional swap. But nevertheless, we now have 2 little spiky balls needing their own future evolutions. There's so many steel-looking creatures out here hoping to get a new form. Pincurchin, Qwilfish, Relicanth, Pyukumuku, Bruxish, I guess. That one might be hard to evolve, but overall, even though it's only electric and nowhere near the same typing as Qwilfish's water poison, it does have a striking resemblance and instills that desire to have an evolution just as well. Number 6. Ice-Cube. Sometimes you can forget about other species in games when new ones come out, but maybe not Prinplup when it's a starter from the 4th generation. However, if they made the shiny for Ice-Cube blue instead of pink, it would look exactly like Prinplup with an ice cube on its head. You know, I think the real clone part here comes from the fact that while I still like both penguins, just lobbing an ice cube on the body of what looks to be a pretty standard penguin might make some fans who are already mad a little more on the edge with what would be considered a better designed penguin that also evolves. You do get the addition of a noise face too, so it's not just a penguin with an ice cube, it's a penguin with 2 ice sculpted faces and has its own non-evolving gimmick. But I mean, if you're playing Mario 64 and you're choosing which penguin to drop off the level instead of bringing it back to the penguin in the middle, I guess you choose Ice Cube. I mean, not to have it die or anything, just because I think the ice penguin is going to survive off the edge of the level more easily than a water penguin. Nevertheless, these are 2 Pokemon that if you swap their heads, wow, that's a picture I didn't need here. Number 5, Colossal. This is one of the lesser clones of Pokemon, where I do see it mentioned a lot as Golem, but it has enough of a different design to sort of take on the rocky formation with inspiration and a different touch in the 8th generation. There's also Rhyperior, which we don't really need another form of, and then my personal favorite that I think it's a clone of, Zekrom, but with a warm hat on. You just take the back off its head, put it on Zekrom, and put a mini version of Colossal beside him, and now don't talk to me or my son ever again. Roly-Poly is this generation's armless Geodude, or a floating Roggenrola, but that's really just the archetype we have going for rock Pokemon here, unless they make them really out there, because if you just take out one of Onix's balls, you can plop in any of these Pokemon as a replacement. I mean, you do have Stonjourner, who is quite unique for a rock type, but really that's just Conkeldurr losing the spotlight to its pillars. You know, if you flip Stonjourner upside down and put it under Conkeldurr's hands, wow, you can always find a rock in a hard place. Number 4, Sandaconda. Had to put another snake into the mix with Sandaconda, the whimsical bagpiped recreation of Seviper and Arbok. Mostly Ekans inflated and recolored, but either or. Sandaconda does have the more doomed look as it traverses through piles of sand and reaching the ground typing Nirvana, so it brings something different to the species. I guess it would be more Silly Cobra with the resemblance to the other snakes because they did beef up its neck to give it its own sort of personal touch to staking out the competition. So Silly Cobra can be seen as more of the clone of this generation, rather than its evolution. Number 3. Inteleon. Inteleon crocodile for alligator. I drive into Generation 8 like a Greninja berater. I mean, I think this was the most talked about Final Star evolution that showed up as what a lot of people thought resembled Greninja in a more slender look. You've got the trying spy against the ninja in a battle of who's more fluid, I guess. Sumble does have a somewhat Froakie resemblance, and the middle evolution of Frogadier and Drizzly both have the robust growing pain look. And then they both form into these sleek athletic looking builds that have rather similar designs and backstories in their somewhat, again, similar ways. I think Inteleon may even follow the road Greninja ended up on, where a lot of people hated on the design at the beginning of its release, and then after some time everyone warmed up to it and it became a real favorite. I do think it would be a little bit of a twist if Ash captured a Sobble and evolved it into an Inteleon, while with Greninja being released, so it might end up as a black sheep of the generations if that happens for the anime fans. Yet it does seem like Inteleon is set up in the same ways as Greninja, and maybe given some special treatment out of the starting Pokemon. Also, there's always Randall from Monsters Inc. if we need that reference again. Greninja and Inteleon both look like distant family members, however, like Greninja is from Maine and Inteleon is from Wisconsin, but went to go study in London and can't catch up with his ninja guy then. Just too far to meet up and the long distance calls cost too much. Greninja couldn't even get a visa. Number 2, Arctozolt. A lot of you may be thinking, there's never been a Pokemon made like this before. While some of you may have also been thinking, oh, that's a Garbodor clone. But really, Arctozolt is a clone of Cubchoo here, where for some reason these are the only 2 Pokemon you can find with these continual nose strippings. I mean, okay, you're trying to make Pokemon unique, but if you're going to design it after something, and for some reason you want a bear, maybe try the color scheme of Winnie the Pooh, not Winnie the Cubchoo. It also just looks like Zapdos, but with the stretched out body of the raw chicken shiny Emultras. But of all the things I was not ready for, it was definitely seeing Cubchoo's bubble remastered in a new generation. Number 1, Grapplock. Octillery has a new similar looking friend. While the color scheme of Grapplock makes it look incredibly different, and like a darker version of Remoraid, Grapplock's shiny version comes off as if it's a little nod to our old Octazooka pal. You know, if you take Grapplock and Grapplock's pre-evolution together, and flip their colors, it's like Remoraid and Octillery. Grapplock even has its own signature move with Octalock, as it's a more defensive move, however it's even able to learn Octazooka. I mean, I think it's fine that these two share the move. I did like when Octillery held on to the move, as if it was its own, but another Octoman getting it after all these years isn't as bad as Horsey snatching it up to be learned while breeding. Sure, Horsey has a nose-mouth Nerf can to shoot things out of too, but you have Kingdra, and Seadra was already cool. Let the Red Menace have its little signature spotlight with Octazooka on its own. These 2 tentacle monsters seem like a fun pairing, and both have their own humorous approaches to Pokemon. So it's a well done addition on both ends with great similarities. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out those links in the description and let me know which Pokemon you think resembles another the most. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more, and you can check out any of the videos listed on the screen here. Or in the playlist, you can click that one too. Hope to see you back here for some more, and until next time, have a good one.